Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Saratoga on Sunday. Turf sprinters going 5.5 on the melon. Let's take a look at the field for race number 9. It's the $120,000 Galway Stakes, 3-year-old fillies. This is a very competitive group, Mike. The 7 Going Good is 3-1 on the morning line, and why not? She's won her last 2 races, one on turf, one on dirt. She has tactical speed. She has Brad Cox.
Yeah, I think she's the horse to beat in here. Her form overall is just really good. She shows up and runs every time. The only time so far, anyway, that she was out of the exacted, Dan, she did not get a good trip 3 starts back at Churchill Downs. I do think she's the horse to beat, but the competition, I think, runs pretty deep in here.
Potential for a fast pace in here. We throw up Time Form US, and while not a red bar, you see a competitive pace. Wink, the number 3, is fast for Wesley Ward. Dr. B, the number 4, tries turf for the first time. She has run quickly on dirt. Mischieful as well. Illegal Smile, another one trained by Wesley Ward, should be close to the pace. It'll be interesting to see how this pace works out. I think Wink is on ascend.
Yeah, she probably is. I mean, that's her running style. It will be interesting to see how it plays out, because a lot of the pace depends on 2 horses who have never run on turf before, and if they don't bring their dirt speed over to this surface, it could be a totally different complexion to this race.
Another horse trying turf for the first time is down to the rail. That's the one, Little Tootsie, cutting back in distance after being just walloped in the Indiana Oaks by Tapiture. 8% winners with first-time turf runners. She is a half to 4 minor turf winners. This seems like a tough spot, turning all the way back and switching surfaces.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough spot. There's a little turf pedigree here. I really do think she's way better sprinting than she is routing, Dan, so I like the idea of them cutting her back for this race. We'll see how the turf idea works out. I mean, I do think she has some ability. If she handles turf and runs one of her good races, she could contend here.
Tuscan Queen steps up out of the maiden ranks after a pretty impressive graduation day at Saratoga on July the 23rd. Let's watch that race right now. She just cruises up on the outside under Jose Ortiz, gave up ground, and once she really kicks it into gear in the stretch, she extends. This was a visually impressive performance, an 87 buyer, and she's hoping for some pace up front.
Yeah, this was an impressive maiden win. This is a filly who had debuted going 6 at Belmont and ran a lot better than it looks on paper in her debut. And the fractions that are listed in that race are not right. That pace was way faster than that. She attacked it. She got tired in the stretch, but she ran really well in there. And she came back last time with sort of a totally different ride. Ortiz rode her, I thought, with a lot of confidence, gave away some position, lost some ground to get her to the outside. She charged through the stretch.
Wink is a multiple stakes winner sprinting on the turf, and Wesley Ward thought enough of her to ship her to France last year, where she earned a group placing. Now, what happened last time in the Mamselle going 5/8? She was caught up in a hot pace. She tired badly. Do you really find a big excuse for that race? Because if you can, she's right in the mix.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't find a big excuse for it, Dan, and maybe that's just a little bit of my, personal bias with this horse. Who, having seen all of her races, I just never thought that she was that good. I know that she won all 3 of her first 3 stateside starts over here. I just wasn't impressed with any of those wins. She took some pressure last time, and she was no match in there. That was not a good performance.
Dr. B is up next. Luis Saez takes the mount on this daughter of Liam's Map, trying turf for the first time. Liam's Map at 9% with first-time turf runners. Stakes placed in an off-turf race last time out. I think this horse is getting better. I wish there was a little bit more turf in the pedigree.
Yeah, I didn't see enough turf either. I really liked her 2 wins earlier this year at Parks. I thought she looked really good winning those races. They brought her to New York for the Jersey Girl. I thought she might be tough in there. She was not. She got outrun to the lead in there, did not run well at all, although I guess if Bella Sophia's in the race, she really can't make the lead. I don't know, Dan. I don't like her last 2 races, and I didn't see enough turf. I still like her. I still think there's a chance she's pretty good. I just didn't want to bet her in here.
Mischieful, beaten favorite in the off-turf Coronation Cup by Going Good last time out. Will try turf for trainer Ian Wilkes. Buy into Mischief. They seem to do everything. 14% winners with first turf runners. This horse has a versatile running style. I think she's going to try to sit off the early leaders, maybe in the second flight.
It'll be interesting to see what Lizcano does. She's pretty fast. We don't know about turf. Her dam did win on the grass, but she was probably a little bit better on dirt. I respect that she has speed, Dan, and she's run some good races, but I think this is a pretty tough spot to make your surface debut.
Ward has the 6 Illegal Smile. This is a stakes winner in New York, sprinting on the turf. 3rd start of 2021. Showed speed last time out at Churchill. Going Good was just a little bit better at the wire, but she has some races that are really solid. 87 buyer is a 2-year-old in New York.
Yeah, she has run some good races. When she won that race in New York at the end of last year, I don't know. I just felt like she got such a soft trip in there. Didn't take any pressure on the lead and maybe took advantage a little bit. It did come back a fast race, though. I don't love her 2 races this year. She's been competitive with Going Good. I still think Going Good's a little bit better than she is.
Going Good got a nice trip when she beat Illegal Smile in that allowance race 2 starts back, came through in the off-turf Coronation Cup, just in raging good form right now. And you could argue that if she does go off at 3-1, that's fair. Would I take 2-1 or less in this field? No. 3-1's fair considering the form she's in.
I agree. I think 3-1 is fair. I just think she's the horse to beat in here again. I think all of her races are good. She's pretty good on dirt, but she's just way better on turf. She has a really nice running style where she has speed, but doesn't need to be on the early lead at all. She can sit a little bit and run. And again, the only time that she really didn't show up with a representative race was that start 3 back, and she had a lot of trouble in there.
Mike, do we agree that Bye Bye's last race, the mile's not her game? She's more of a sprinter. We saw that in the Soaring Softly 2 starts back. We saw that in her turf debut at Gulfstream going 5 base. She didn't run great last time out in the Wild Applause at all, but I think you can make the excuse that the mile was a little far.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair for her for sure. I agree with you that I think the best race that she's run, and I realize that she's a grade 3 winner on the turf. I think the best race she's run is the 5 furlong race at Gulfstream. She was pretty impressive breaking her maiden that day. You know, her Soaring Softly was good. I guess my real problem, Dan, is I don't love the Soaring Softly as a race overall. I thought this filly ran well in there, and I expect her to run better as she cuts back in this race. It still wasn't enough to make me want to take her in here.
Conversely, the number 9, Always Late, might find this distance a bit sharp. This will be the first sprint of her career. She's by Animal Kingdom out of a mineshaft mare. You think route when you think that pedigree. Now, 2 back in the Wonder again. Her last start on turf, you can draw a line through that race. She was in against Cone Lima, who controlled a moderate pace and is pretty good in her own right. She's run some nice races on the turf. I just wonder if this is a little bit too short. Bill Mott hoping for another Casa Creed.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of just, it feels like they're just trying to figure this filly out right now to see what she really wants to do. Her 2 wins earlier this year on turf were fine, going longer. They've tried her in a couple of tougher races since then. She's not a dirt horse, obviously. The Wonder again, you know, whatever. She did what she could do in there. She's just no match for those kinds of horses. Now they'll see if she's a sprinter. I guess after this, Dan, you got to try to find an allowance race for her if you can.
Star Divine cuts back in distance. Sprinting will be fine for her. She won her debut going 6. Let's watch her last race, an allowance at Belmont on June the 17th. She finished 3rd in here, Star Divine. And Star Divine, to me, is the kind of filly that's going to take back and hope for a little bit of a run. She had to alter course to the outside. When she does, she picks up some pieces late. Fast pace, she'll run late.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of cutting her back, too. I just don't really feel like stretching out work for her. I like the idea that they had here, Dan. They took her back, they rated her, they got her to the outside. You can just see she just doesn't really have a big finish going a mile and a 16th. I think that race is too far for her. The Soaring Softly, they tried to put her on the lead, and she got tired. I guess that effort was okay. Her career debut, the 6 furlong sprint, she ran really well in that race. She walked out of the gate. She was last early. She came with a big finish in there. I think she wants to sprint.
What a Trick AE Summer Brew MTO. So it's pick time for the Galway Stakes. We are going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Mike, you and I are going with Tuscan Queen. Just very visually impressive. So lightly raced. This filly has a lot of upside. I'm very interested to see how she kicks on in the stretch on Sunday.
I agree. This is a tough spot for her. So she's going to have to be, you know, as good as she looked last time. We'll see if she is. But I thought she ran well last time. I'm not against Going Good, really. I do think she's the horse to beat. I just put her 2nd. And I just have those other 2 horses trying to cut back here. Bye Bye, Star Divine. I'll use them at the right price. Dan. I don't want these horses if they're going to be, you know, taking money in here. But if they drift up around that 8 or 10 to 1 range, I want to use them.
I agree with you. Going Good's the horse to beat. I think Illegal Smile is going to run a little bit better this time around, maybe with a more patient ride. But I'm with you. I want to see Tuscan Queen do it, and I think she might go off a square price. 2, 6, 7, 10 for me, 2, 7, 10, 8 for Mike. It's the Galway Stakes, the feature at Saratoga on Sunday. Good luck.